The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Snapple. Want to know another Snapple fact? The first hot air balloon passengers were a sheep, a duck, and a rooster. Ridiculous. Check out Snapple.com to find ridiculously flavored Snapple near you.
Savage Garden once said, I knew I loved you before I met you. And Michael Bublé said, I just haven't met you yet. But now that we have met, I hope we both find what we are looking for on this incredible journey we are about to embark.
Just like that, and just like that, we are back. Like the girls of Sex and the City.
Exactly like them.
Back. Kia ora, welcome along to the Real Pod's Real Recap of Married at First Sight Australia. My name's Jane Yee, joined by Alex Casey, Duncan Grieve. We are your experts behind the mic.
Who's everyone? Who's John?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, like, we're experting the experts even. I mean, who's
well, I
John?
guess
Duncan's got to be John. Because gender norms?
I feel like you're John.
Am I John?
I want to be the
you want to be
the new lady.
Alessandra?
Yeah, I want to be Alessandra.
You're not, though.
No.
I think Alex is Alessandra.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
Duncan, you're definitely Mel.
Yeah.
When we opened the show before the music, you would have heard there some amazing vows. Savage Garden once said.
Oh my God. Quoting Savage Garden back to back with Michael Bublé.
And completely
earnestly.
And to an American who probably never heard Savage Garden.
Definitely not.
Certainly not to that level.
I think they were huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just encapsulates.
We could do a whole episode on Savage Garden.
we should at some point. It just encapsulates what I love about this show is just people who look and seem like they're completely normal, but there's just something just slightly off. You can't put your finger on it. And they get together and get married, having never met before. And I love it. I love it.
It's just, it feels like it's become as Australian as like test match cricket or, like it's just part of this. It's almost like you can imagine hundreds of thousands of people growing up and go, one day, about this thing that objectively must wreck your life.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
I was watching it and I was kind of that sort of thing about something's off with all these people. And I became convinced, particularly Holly and Andrew, that they're actors. But then Joe reminded me, he's like, no, this is people now who have watched MAFS for however many years now? Could it be 10? Like, and they're just like playing into the characters and they know exactly what they're doing. And we benefit as an audience. They just like, they do the damn thing.
I also think you're hearing a little bit more of the producers in conversation now and the artistry with which it's made and set up. They just know what they're doing. They're in the prime of their working lives and they just, it feels like this is their masterpiece and they are just pouring everything into it and it's just beautifully made now.
To that point, we could have gone the whole season without knowing that Brent has a phobia. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that could have happened is that Tamara could never have gotten wind of it. But clearly she's been fed that information. You know what I mean?
Let's do the Cinderella.
Yeah, let's do the Cinderella
when is that
thing.
ever done?
Yeah. Also, Tamara, you don't happen to have any weird toes, do you?
I mean, I think that's how she got matched with him. Yeah. It's like we've got one contestant who's got a fake toenail. let's put him with the guy.
Next to him, they just had pictures of the feet, not the women. They were just going through, like, who's got the weirdest one.
Anyway, we're going to go through couple by couple. By the way, we do have another kind of version version of this podcast, which is called The Real Pod. That comes out usually on a Tuesday. And that's, I don't know, us just having a guess about some other stuff. But we like to dedicate ourselves when we are recapping a show, which is why you've got this pop-up version of the show. And we do invite you to tell your mates. And anyone, who's watching this show would like you to be part of this conversation.
Because 6 hours is not enough.
It's not enough.
So all you want to do is just wallow in it. Well, for the whole time it's on.
It's
this
definitely the kind of show that once you've watched an episode, you're like, I need to talk to someone about this. And we're those people, if you've got no mates especially. Anyway, you'll find us on Facebook. We've got a little group there you can go and join, facebook.com/groups/Real Pod Corner. And we're also on Instagram under the Spin-Off Podcast Network. Let's get to the first wedding. Anthony and Selin. She reminds me, she's like a cross for me between Whitney Houston and Miley Cyrus.
Oh, I was thinking Bex. Last season, Bex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In body and soul.
Oh my God, yes. I had forgotten so many. I need to tell you about what happened after I watched this week's episodes, what we did and then what I realised. But anyway, that's a tease for the end of the show. Anthony and Selin. So she was referred to as one of the older contestants, coming in at 32 years old.
Just had it, really.
It's good. It's important for representation to show geriatric people on a screen.
She's got a 2.5-year-old boy called Roman. She was previously married. He betrayed her in the worst way possible. I'm curious to know what that is.
What is that?
I don't know.
With your mum?
Oh my God.
With your dad?
I think that's almost better.
That is almost better. You're right. And she lives with her mum and dad, speaking of, and is Turkish. That's what we know about her to begin with. Anthony is 38. He is a father. He has a little girl called Gabby who's on the spectrum. He wants to find the love of his life. He's an old school romantic. He's a gentleman and a pro wrestler.
How have pro wrestlers gone for us on this show historically?
Not well.
Beautifully.
And yeah, seemed like two lovely people. What could possibly go wrong, you know?
Absolutely perfect. Match made in heaven. No further questions.
The crazy thing is, like it starts off. They do spend a lot of time building out his character as this. He's obviously like handsome, nice, etc. But they definitely build up a kind of a line between old school gentleman and believes in traditional gender roles so much, might be a misogynist type thing. And Selin seems great, and you're sort of like worried about what will happen there. And then there's that just extraordinary swing that happens at the end, and you're like, yeah, it's very good. The structuring of their story arc is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so for the actual wedding itself, did you guys notice that both the aunties had broken arms?
What is going on with that? Well, I have a conspiracy theory. So did you notice that Anthony, his whole underarm is tattooed jet black? Like jet black, the whole underside of his arm.
Do you think that his
I think they've all got it. Oh. I think they've all got it and they're covering it up. For reasons yet to be revealed.
Illuminati, sort of. If you look at it under a blue light, something comes up.
It was so distracting.
It was so distracting. Not the first very distracting guest at a wedding. Sorry, not the last. But anyway, we'll get to Levi. He cracked some good dad jokes in his vows. You know, they talked about the fact they're parents straight away, which is great. Just get that out there. Full discussion, names, ages, everything, which is just normal before you get married, isn't it? And just everyone had a lovely time.
I liked when he said, "You are looking at a father, a husband, a wrestler."
Yeah.
In that order.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I reckon wrestler first. A wrestler's always a wrestler first, surely.
I feel like you have to say I'm a wrestler before you say I'm a father. It's like more important.
It is. It's definitely,
it's less common. It feels like it's more instructive. Anyone can be a father, but being a wrestler takes dedication.
Did you notice the weird way they cut their cake at the...
No. Okay. Another weird way.
I know. For a start, the cake cutting has just been diabolical for this season. But they they just shaved a bit off the side. Like they didn't do a cut. They just kind of like shaved. It wasn't even a wedge. It was like a circle almost.
Maybe they had a second wedding for the day and wanted to, take it
Turn it around.
Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah, very economical.
So they cut the cake the way that Tamara and Brent will later cut the cheese. As we saw on the honeymoon.
I didn't notice how
That's quite interesting.
Did they do that way too?
They did do it that
Oh
way.
yeah, that was a whole story. Tamara was just like, what is this strange animal in front of me?
I did zone out for bits, so you may have to fill me in on some of these bits.
Okay.
And I also zoned out for a really key bit, but I did not zone out for any of the tension between Ella and Mitch. But then we'll get there. Okay.
Are we doing the honeymoon?
Yeah, we just did couple by couple. Belly dance was great because there's no music, and so and everyone gets up. Everyone,
good.
the 4 people who are there, get up to dance along and to no music, which is wonderful. There was probably music added in post, but of course none on the actual recording. She stated in her vows she wanted a gentleman, right? She was like, "I want you to pull out my chair for me," or something. Or,
Yeah.
Well, she was talking
She
about that
didn't
in the
specifically
moment.
say, I want you to feed me kiwi fruit with a fork.
She's just trying to be cute,
Well, how would you respond to that?
If I was really into someone, I would be fine with it. If I didn't like someone, I wouldn't be fine
Right.
with it.
So
I think that's the tell, right? It's all it's the context of who it is,
But there was something about the way that he was doing that seemed off, and maybe it was her body language, or maybe it's just the fact that his gentlemanliness sort of feels like it spills over into just like quite an overbearing, I'll just control the entire environment, thanks.
I think he's just like pulling out some tropes, which is not, it just makes it feel like he's like ticking off a sheet of like how to be a gentleman. But also, I think what he was wearing would have played a big factor in that.
Oh, you didn't like his...
bintang?
He's wearing the large armhole singlet with like neon graphics, and then baggy track pants that were like baggy around the crotch, but not in a cool way, in a kind of a well worn way. And
I just think when you're
there's lint on those
proportions as a man, that like it's probably hard to get a singlet with you can't have one with small armholes when you've got giant arms.
No, but this is kind of like real, like way giant armholes. I don't know. It was a very.
It's hot.
It was what kind of hot? Like temperature wise?
Sweat.
It was a really interesting choice for the first morning of your honeymoon.
Let's talk about the clash.
Okay, the clash. Okay, so what is a jaffle and what is a toasty?
Wait.
They're synonymous.
The pottery class.
Oh, the pottery class.
Oh,
The pottery
yeah.
class.
Okay, yeah, that's where it all began.
The clay on clay. You put clay on my face. I put clay on your face. That's fun, as Anthony said. Was it?
Well, slight difference in the way the clay was applied. He
Yes.
should have gone for the arm, is what he should have done. Like, he should have gone back, if he really insisted, he should have gone for the arm. What he did was put clay in her mouth and eyes.
And hair.
And hair. But she also had said, that's enough now, no more. Like, we've done the little fun thing. I feel like you're going to come back at me and put it all over my face. I'm telling you now that that's not what I want and that this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
As soon as she said that, I knew he was going to do it and it was going to be bad.
Counterpoint, he's a professional wrestler. That you don't just have
he's-
one move and then you do a move back and be like, that's a great match.
It's true.
It's true.
And also, he probably just saw it as a challenge. She was shit talking him. And he was like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you who's clay
The
boss.
thing is, he should not have done that, but then her reaction was just enormous and seemed to be like borderline. Like they keep revealing, they're unpeeling the onion, and every layer is more pungent and unpleasant than the last.
I also like that it revealed for her this kind of switch in the performance, like particularly when they kind of seem to drop the cameras on the table and sort of film her going like off
Yeah.
the grid, sort of going, oh, that's going to make me look terrible now. I look like a big sook or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could see a producer in a puffer vest, always
Yeah,
a great thing
yeah.
to have in the shot.
Is there a producer who doesn't have a puffer vest? When you go to
You're not
producer school,
allowed.
do you graduate and
That's
you
what
get
you
given
get.
a puffer vest?
Yes.
Golden puffer vest.
In a bum bag.
So then there's Jaffle versus Toast. They're synonyms, right? Or is just what?
They're close enough. Jaffles, by definition, are like old school toasted sandwich maker type,
Yeah.
clamped at the edges.
Which is what that thing was,
But I think
right?
that's what they had. Well,
Yeah.
or
They
you
had.
can get ones. I couldn't quite see. You can get ones that have got that are kind of open, like a
They didn't
more
look
like
open.
a grill. But if they're like the iron ones that clamp shut, then yeah, that's a Jaffle. That's a Jaffle.
Jaffle.
She just, I mean, but again, like you've said twice now, if she'd liked him, she'd be like,
Yeah.
would have been a fun, playful little kind of, you say tomato, I say tomato. As it was, she's like, no, whatever the thing you're doing, that's the bad, wrong
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's like
She's got the ick. She's
She's
Beck.
got the
She's
ick.
Beck. She's
Yeah.
got the ick.
Got the
And now
ick.
every little thing that
Yeah.
he does, she's going to blow up as like, that's not what real men do. Like she's just picking things because she wants to get out or she wants to push him away.
Yeah.
It's the ick.
it's the ick.
Can't come back from the ick.
But he did have a big sook in the car.
He had a big
Oh,
sook
huge
in the
sook.
car, but she is just like radiating contempt.
Yeah.
And then the off camera, like, you're going to have a big cry tomorrow.
I know. What was that?
It came out quite a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
I think, So this is something she didn't say on camera, but he repeated for the cameras, saying that she'd mentioned this. When you're on camera, you'll probably have a big cry.
I mean, that's...
She's like, there's so many references, I guess, to being very aware of production for her. She knows how it plays out. So, can you tell me what exactly happened in the fight at the end? Because that was one of the bits where I zoned out.
I zoned out as well.
Why
I
did
just
I
wrote
zone out?
Anthony storms away because it was written in the stars. It was always going to happen.
How are you doing, princess? That was another question that was asked of him. Like, it feels like she is spending the off-camera time goading him so that he's in a particular emotional place when they are shooting the scenes, that he's not, that he comes off the worst for it. And
She should be a producer, truly. She's very skilled.
yeah, absolutely. The thing is, I think by the end of it, you're both being super unpleasant to each other. You're clearly ill-matched. This is just not, this is just unpleasant to watch you in the same, like, and it feels irrecoverable, and that's fine, because we've got 3 absolute all-time take it to the bankers so far, which is great.
I also have a couple swap suggestion already. Assuming that Anthony packing his bags is him leaving.
He's absolutely not leaving. He'll be back.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Holly and Anthony? But Michael Bublé, Savage Garden?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How about
Yeah.
that? He's got a daughter?
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I see it. He'll be back. He's the Hayden. I say Al, I mean New Zealand's Hayden from Married at First Sight New Zealand, who stormed off pretty early on Bell and then came back.
That's right.
And he was
And
also
under
a
really
wrestler.
similar circumstances, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not quite so goaded, but
Certainly vibing a similar way. Okay, our next couple, great. Tamara and Brent. She was extremely unlikable at the wedding.
Hugely.
Massive turnaround for her in this first week.
But credit to Brent. Like, I think that, he was so, when she was really just destroying him with the knife play at the thing, like, he always seemed to have this idea of this as being this kind of comically OTT thing that he would just go along for the ride with, which I think is likely why we got the reveal of her actually being this like sweet goof once she kind of got down off this kind of freaked out precipice type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wedding day must be just crazy for them, right? She's got quite a long list of expectations, including clean fingernails and a nicely pressed suit. His wedding outfit was deplorable.
Big jacket, eh?
It was so
Big
long.
long jacket.
It was so long. He looked like one of the Queen's guards. It was like slightly off white, and then it was huge, double-breasted number, and I don't know. It was,
I liked it.
I really like Brent.
Brent,
I love him.
He's so great.
he might be my favourite person on the show as like you're just a wonderful, wonderful person.
And what an interesting backstory, like the kind of Dubai success.
What is
and
his job? I'm
COVID,
sorry.
and
What is
there's
his
a picture
job?
of him with a parrot. I don't know.
He's like, I do I'm in hospitality, do everything, photography, videography. Like, what is it? What does that mean?
I think he's in marketing.
It's very confusing. But
He's
anyway.
a promoter. Like, I think there's a real kind of porous border there. The thing is, he physically scanned like another kind of juice head, going to be an asshole guy, and you keep waiting for that reveal, and it just doesn't come.
No.
Even his foot phobia, which in the wrong hands could be like such an unpleasant kind of pompous characteristic, on him it's just adorable. Like when he's wrapping the pillow around his head to get away from the foot.
Yeah, it's not quite the same as like Gonzo's phobia of any other colour eye apart from blue, which played out real badly from last season. Anyway, but we have to talk about Levi before we go any further.
Maybe we need a new like sub podcast that's just talking about Levi.
So Levi was the best. Was he the best man?
He was the best man.
Best mate
I think
of
he was
Brent.
the only man. I think they
had like a double date.
They had a double date. They just had one each, didn't they?
We all wrote in our notes different responses
Should we
to
read them?
Levi. Should we just read them out?
Sure.
I wrote, I love Levi, the best man, lol. He looks like John Mayer.
I have got best man, cutest guy of the lot, lol.
Why do we write lol to ourselves in our own notes? It's so sad.
Because it's not really lol, is it? It's just like
dead
deadly
serious.
serious. I've just got Brent's best man, Levi, is babe.
Yeah, and all of those things are true. Where was this guy? Where was this guy when they were taking applications, you know?
It's madness.
It's madness.
He's got to be shacked up, though.
But it's also like it's even his handsomeness is kind of low key and cool.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Mitch looks like Patrick Swayze, a young Patrick Swayze. And it's just so full on that it's like a bit much. I mean, even though like we'll talk about Mitch because he's maybe the best
human alive.
Yes, but Levi is it's just so casual. Like his hair just sort of there, but it's perfect.
Yeah. He's definitely. It feels like an achievable hotness. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not intimidating.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was also not afraid to, call out Tamara on her bullshit.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
Really?
working in a toy store, all of that stuff.
Yeah, his values are right, but then he's just so restrained with it. Like he doesn't. There was ample opportunity for both Brent and Levi to really go to war and have the whole thing melt down them, but they're both just so chill. Oh my gosh.
Man, I want to just be mates with those two.
Same.
No, that's not
Yeah.
true. I want to sleep with Levi and be mates with Brent.
And that's honesty box.
What else happened? The toy store conversation was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And as you say, Levi went in on behalf of all humanity. What a guy. What a man. Give him the Nobel Peace Prize. But what do you make of her take that someone working in a toy store not ambitious?
I would love to marry someone who worked at a toy store.
One of my favourite stores in the whole world is Toyco. I go there without children. Like a toy store is heaven.
Also, toy stores sell all sorts of, board games and stuff now. You can get a really good discount.
Puzzles.
I think it's an absolute asset to a relationship.
I mean,
Christmas, God.
yeah, Christmas, God. Are we talking about Santa?
I'm talking about, Santa.
Yeah. Hell of a guy.
Yeah, toys worked out pretty well for him, right? He's turning a good racket.
Bloody good.
Just because you work in a toy store doesn't mean you don't have ambitions.
I think it's the business model of being Santa Claus.
It's terrible.
Huge outgoings. You get some whiskey, you get a little bit of a cookie.
You get a lot of leave.
I don't even say
though.
yeah, you do.
Shitload of leave.
Yeah.
And you've got heaps of workers as well to do
That's
most
true,
of the
but
hard
how are
graft.
you paying for them? I don't know what the employment relationship is like there.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
She also has a go on about how to use a knife and fork. There's, of course, the knife fight.
I think that's fair. She's just trying to, if you use your big fork to eat your small meal, then you're forced to eat your big meal with the small fork. It's going to look crazy. She's just trying to be helpful.
She also had a problem with which hand he was holding it in.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Counterpoint. He does say he works in hospitality,
Yeah, but that shows he's the big boss.
Right.
He's not laying the tables.
So he's a maverick.
He's
True.
directing the video shoot at the dinner.
Famous restaurant video.
The main thing is obviously that he hands her a knife the wrong way and she can't possibly be expected to flip it around and has the enormous shame.
The problem is the technique. You got to go in with the point and then cut down. You can't try and use pressure, downwards pressure.
And that's on her, right?
It's on both of them. I was screaming at the television. Point the knife.
I've only very recently learned how to cut things properly. A tomato, for example. But I wondered, you've both cut wedding cakes in your time, correct?
Well, no. Well, we had like a cheesecake, as in a cake made of cheeses.
Oh, classic.
Saved on that.
And did you cut,
Well, yeah, kind of.
did you go for like a cheese wedge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what's your question?
Well, no, I was just wondering, like, did you think about it in advance? Was it like something that you were...
I used to work
Conscious
at a
of.
company where everyone got a birthday cake on their birthday, and you.
Don't we currently do that?
I didn't get one. Just saying. I'm just putting it. I didn't get one.
Oh, so everyone but you.
Everyone but me. Everyone but me.
So
at this company.
So this whole podcast has been so you could bring that up, isn't it?
You've been briefing Alex for this question.
Yeah. Okay. It's the whole reason we're doing this pop-up podcast. Is
Happy
oh my God.
There's nothing coming in.
Doing the long hair
I know.
is my favourite thing in the world. And you've done
I'll
like
never stop.
5 times.
And that's better than a cake, isn't it?
It really is. Anyway, well, I did a lot of witnessing of how cakes were cut. And so when it came to my wedding, I knew exactly what I was doing.
Okay.
Exactly what I was doing. Tip in first. Which is a good rule.
I don't think there's any other way.
Anyway, okay, so
You can't reverse it.
Brent's a funny guy. He calls her a psychopath and says she's a bit of a dick, and they kind of edit it to make it sound like but he's kind of like, I reckon when
loves it.
I reckon when he said she's a bit of a dick, he's doing it in the Australian way where I like it. She's a bit of a dick, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they kind of cut off the stuff around it.
I think when they're teasing it, sure, but in the actual context, you're like, he is having fun with it.
Yeah. She was up screaming at 3:45 in the morning on their honeymoon, sat bolt upright and said, "There's someone here."
How good was the, like, I'm assuming recreation of her scream? Because I don't think they'd mic them all through the night, right?
No.
But I wonder who done it. Who is the production assistant? They were like, can you just quickly do a scream? Can you just do a scream off camera?
I mean, I hope it went that way and it wasn't just some sort of like, sound library scream.
Oh, yeah. I'd hope so too.
I feel like the Married at First Sight people would reproduce that on the spot.
I think so. I think they're committed to authenticity. She woke up and said, there's someone here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she didn't wake up. She
was
sat up.
having night horrors. Night terrors.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
For your first night together.
But good to know that what he's in for. And then she shoved her feet in his face and what a champion.
Yeah.
As someone who's phobic of vomit, if someone came at me with a pile of vomit, I would not have a lull and slither out of bed and giggle about it on the floor.
To be both phobic but also have a sense of humour about the ridiculousness of your phobia. Very good.
What a great person. The kiss didn't land. It was a funny time and they both took it really, really well. So the honesty box came out. He got a free question and he said, "Can I kiss my bride?" But it wasn't really a romantic moment, right? Have you ever been asked for permission for a kiss? I have.
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have.
I have, but it was in a moment where it was like, it was kind of a given. Like it was a romantic, the heads were already close.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was part of the thing. It wasn't just we sat on the floor with the bright lights on.
The camera there. Camera there.
Yeah, talking through some like real intense stuff. Can I have a kiss? Anyway, she gave him one. She definitely, she said yes. It wasn't like she was anti. It just wasn't probably the right moment.
It was awkward, but it was cute.
That's the thing. And everything about them is awkward but cute, you know?
Okay, quickly, Jack and Domenica, perfect. Perfect. Italians, doggy lovers.
Vegetarians.
Doggy in a suit.
Doggy in a suit.
Doggy in a suit.
She's got the adorable snaggletooth that I love, and he's just delightful.
And the only problem is, I think that we're going to find out that they're either closely related or brother and sister.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few cases of dating or siblings going on in this in this show. But anyway, this is definitely one of them.
He reminded me a lot of Jez from Peep Show.
Yes.
Gone straight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such huge Jez.
Love him.
Jez a G.
So her big thing is that she has been married previously, and she left that marriage after 2 months. So she'd been with the guy for a while, left him after 2 months, did that classic thing of getting married when she knew she probably shouldn't have, which she's not the only one in this season who did that. Everything about these two is basically great.
They saw a birth.
They saw a birth?
Yuck.
No,
No.
not
Yum.
yet. Not yet. I wrote down that's the most wholesome fucking thing I've
I
ever
know.
seen.
Adored the birth.
I think it really was a moment for them, though,
Yeah.
Alex. I know it was gross when there was bits of umbilical cord hanging down the mother.
It was like,
leg.
was it yellow? Like, what?
Oh, no, there was, that's
Yes.
the cool. That was like the sack that the
Does the sack come out?
well, it's a pop and come out. Not the placenta.
That doesn't fall to the floor?
Great reference. It does eventually, but I think it was still in sheep because we could see the umbilical cord hanging out at one point. No, but the yellow stuff is the you know, babies are in a bubble of amniotic fluid. That's what that was.
Don't know.
Don't know, don't care.
Well, not that I
here to
don't
make
care.
them.
I'm just glad that Jesus or Santa or whoever it is like sorted that out so that it happens. I don't need to know the science behind it.
Some babies are born in
The
their
ultimate
sack,
present.
like a born stool in their bubble. It's amazing. You should look up pictures on the internet. I'll terrify you with them soon. Anyway, I loved that moment between the two of them.
Same.
I thought it was amazing.
There is a cosmic nature to them. There was the thing where she was like, I have M,
yeah.
and he was like, oh, well, I live in Mills Point, and my last name is Miller.
No. First of all, he went, oh, I don't know where that could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But yeah, only the place he lives and his surname.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then she said, I'm psycho.
I'm sorry, my psycho predictions. She's got great little turns of phrase.
Yeah.
Just how
Domenica.
stoked she is to be with another wog.
Yeah.
And then when the producer was like, you know, were you intimate last night? And she was, you know, did you have a nice time? And she was like, is he a good root? And then said, I don't want to be crude about it, but yes, we had a lovely time.
She's so
She's so
great.
great.
The Bogan princess. I like when she says, that shits me. Such a good Australian thing. Shits me.
Her biggest insecurity is that she'll fail, and his is that someone will cut and run. There was a little bit of tension about that. She thought he was aiming his insecurity at her. He wasn't. They sorted it out. Their conflict resolution was great. I have high hopes for these guys.
Real high hopes.
But what was good is they had a nice little fiery Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Fiery Italian moment
Yeah.
that then dissipated.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have a quick break. When we come back, we will be talking about Ella and Mitch, Andrew and Holly and Selina and Cody. Back soon.
Hi, I'm Brian Crump, host of Sci-Fi Sci-Fact, a new RNZ podcast in which we take some of science fiction's strangest ideas and explore if they could really happen. With the help of scientists from New Zealand's McDiarmid Institute, we'll look at all your favourite science fiction characters, from Wolverine to Rumpelstiltskin, Doctor Who to Luke Skywalker. You can find Sci-Fi Sci-Fact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere you get your podcasts from.
When you choose to invest, your money has power. Avoiding companies that finance weapons production or ignore climate change is important. But impact investing goes beyond just avoiding harmful behaviours. It's an opportunity to invest in companies that are actually improving the world. Invest in a better future with the Harbour Sustainable Impact Fund. Grow your wealth and make a positive impact on the world. This is not personalised advice. A disclaimer and the product disclosure statement for Harbour investment funds issued by Harbour Asset Management is available at harbourasset.co.nz.
All right, Andrew and Holly. Andrew is Texan, a motivational speaker, and he is a personal trainer, and he's manifesting a motherly type. He's got a 5-year-old, and he's been married twice. Holly is a cinema manager. Never thought she'd hit this ripe old age of 36 without having a husband and a baby. She's this year's Jules. Remember Jules? Jules and Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Jules. She really wants a baby, except for Jules, but a bit weirder. She said the judges acknowledge that she's unique and unusual, and she is also a manifester. Like, she is manifesting.
The vision board.
She is. I've never seen so much manifesting in one person.
I think she's fake. I think she's not real. Am I just being too judgmental? I just think she's so strange. And the way she speaks is so actory.
Yeah.
Unless she's actually cinema manager means, part-time actress.
Right.
Like, either she is a part-time actor or she is employed by the show to be a character, but I don't know what purpose she's serving. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
I don't. No, I buy her.
It's like she's reading lines. She doesn't talk like I don't want to say normal person.
She's very measured.
Very measured.
So she is kind of like, even when she's joking, like her jokes are dry. Like she's delivering really dry lines. And she did the Savage Garden vows, which feels like...
But she wasn't joking.
Almost too good.
Right?
Oh, no, she wasn't joking.
She wasn't joking.
Yeah. But could she just be produced into doing some terrible stuff? It's like, like the Savage Garden line, like you could, if you were just writing it yourself, you'd be like, should I? And you're like, no. But if there's a producer saying, oh yeah, that's lovely.
That's great, yeah.
Then...
Or the producer gives you the song and says, listen to this line. This is a great line.
She loved that song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Who was it that said, usually I have 2 feelings at a time, but right now I'm having 6? So it's one of them.
Oh, I don't know. How did I not catch that?
I think it was Andrew.
Yeah, it sounds like something he'd say.
Maybe they're both just so the motivational, that language of like manifestation and motivation and all that just makes you talk like a different species.
Yeah, I think that they just come from, there's a particular thread of our society now that is just really up on that kind of woo-woo stuff. And I think you would naturally put those two together. It also is absolutely a group that would believe in the kind of cosmic nature of love and that maybe they were meant to be on a show like this. And I feel like I just kind of buy all that aspect of it. Andrew initially just seems so great. And even the kind of is he or isn't he a gun-toting Trump supporter thing, the fact that there's that huge wave of relief that she feels and we feel on her behalf when that reveals. So again, a similar thing to the whiplash on Selin is that when he just reveals as just this kind of sex monster.
Oh, yeah.
I know I have the right equipment and I know how to use it.
Yeah.
Like he says such
it's because it's not real. I firmly believe they're both got lines.
One thing I found really odd was before they'd had any sex, they had a bath together.
Oh my God, and he just is like, I'm chill about...
I've got a surprise for you or something. And then...
It's my schlong.
Derobed.
He derobed and she just was sat in the bath looking at it and no big deal. And then they just sat in the bath next to each other. And
that's also quite
It was real weird.
Something's off. I don't know. I smell a rat.
Okay.
And even down to anyone who's capable of saying, when we were intimate, you weren't physically there, which is quite funny because that can't possibly be true. And that I'm entitled to that and all that. And then the next day comes back just contrite in a very kind of measured and appropriate way. You're like, how do you be both those things?
I think...
Okay, I'm with it. I'm shipping your theory.
When he said that I've had one night stands that were more intimate, no one would say something that mean.
No.
It seems so...
It's unnecessary.
It's so bizarre. Anyways, there's something going on.
But
there.
also, he said one night stands with people who are more into him than she was. And to be...
Well,
that's
duh.
not the point. That's the point of a one night stand, isn't it?
You got to leave it all on the floor. You're not doing it again.
It's primal. It's like the one time you can do and be whoever you want to be without any kind of other stuff attached to it. Like you can be your wildest sex monster if you want to, and then and never have to see that person ever again. So he's not doing the maths on it. He says sex is very important to him, and I'm entitled to that. It sounded really badly. What I think he means is I'm entitled to have sex as an important thing to me. Like I'm entitled for it to be an important thing, but it just sounded like I'm entitled to sex, the kind of sex that I want.
Which
and then he said if I wanted to just get
himself.
off, I could just do that by myself. He's just
too much.
Sex stuff. Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we'll monitor that.
Okay. Selina and Cody, this is sad.
This is horrible. I hate it.
So Selina and Cody, she's a hairdresser. Her parents had an arranged marriage. They want her to marry rich. She wants to go married at first sight. He is a swim coach and professional trainer, loves adventure, loves wearing togs as his underwear to the wedding. And I love Selina.
She's so great.
Adorable.
I can imagine she might feel like a lot when you get married to her because she's just on one. But, as soon as you get past that, if you're like a Brent type who's like, okay, this is quite a stressy situation, I'll just give it a minute.
Yeah.
But it's like, because then she's basically lovely and great and she's beautiful and all the rest of it.
She's doing that classic thing where she's nervy and she's talking a lot, she's smiling a lot, and she's happy with who she's married. So she's like smiling up at him. I mean, we've had grooms who've had bigger problems with brides who are just like ice queens. Like, you can't have it always, you know?
Yeah.
He says he's phoned her too much and he's worried she's going to dive in quickly, but it's like, it's married at first sight. You are literally marrying the person. And said she's smiling all the time. He was smiling constantly also.
Because I think he's got veneers. And he wants to show them off.
Just asking questions.
Just asking the question. And it's fine if you've got veneers. But if there is real teeth, congratulations.
I mean, and maybe he went into somewhere and was like, hey, Lumino, I'm going to be on Married at First Sight. Hook me up with some veneers and I will give them X amount of airtime.
I'll never stop grinning. But he also has a kind of an adrenaline terrified grin.
Yeah.
Like, so someone laughs a bit long or inappropriate and you sort of join in, but it's not a real one.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, they don't have a reception, they just had a dinner with the two of them. Little too intimate. I think they could have done with some buffers there.
This whole dynamic of how they meet and how they first spend time together without their families, like on one level it reduces the pressure of the sort of judgment and the friends meeting and all that stuff. On another, it's like the pressure of the first time you're on TV, the whole bit, you're just there and it's basically just you. It's such a different dynamic this season. I kind of feel like it's improved. But there's just the weddings have less clutter. It's just like you're all in on them.
Yeah. The honeymoon box was not great. Very much a hark back to Melissa and Gonzo for this one. Like even the way they were sitting, everything. And the question that set everything off was, "Are you attracted to me?" She said she's attracted to him. He said it's a tricky one. He's struggling with a sexual attraction. His schlong is not coordinating with his head.
Don't say
schlong.
You can say it on a podcast.
He could not have done it worse. That response was just excruciating.
So what's a better way to do this? Experts?
Almost any other way. just say that, you're beautiful. I'm just not feeling chemistry at the moment, but we'll give it time.
Yeah,
but also back on you, like, it takes me a while.
Yeah, it takes me a while. I'm a
thing.
cold fish.
Yeah,
and also, but I've got beautiful teeth.
Look at them.
And if you want a discount, Cody 10. There's many other. There are lots of ways to skin a cat, and that is
without just making your partner feel like absolute hell on camera, and then just have to sit with that for who knows how long.
Yeah, and the massage was just hilarious but awful. I mean, especially when it was contrasted with Ella and Mitch's massage.
What an edit!
Amazing.
He was basically doing a sports massage. He's a swim coach. He probably does sports, man. She was like, he knows a lot about muscle groups.
But all he was looking at her was a collection of muscle groups with this sort of skin and bikini over the top. He's like, I've just got to work my way through. And it's like, that could be kind of a hot thing if you weren't just like such a weird detached presence in this transaction.
Watch this space. They're definitely not doomed, but we'll see what happens. Okay, not Andrew and Holly, sorry. What's face? Ella and Mitch. I've duffed it. I've saved the best. I've saved the best for last, and now we're running short on time. But Ella is a beautician. She's been single for 9 years. Mitch reminds me of Ben Blackwell from a New Zealand season of Married at First Sight. I find him very hard to get past. He's got very much 80s movie star / pop star vibes.
The earrings.
The earrings are a really strong look.
Yeah.
It's a decision, And he says he's cynical. He's not into festies or nightclubs. He's sort of my perfect guy. I also not into festies and nightclubs.
But we must admit that the Mitch that we met was not the Mitch that we know now. And I think that first episode, he seemed like he could be a lot of different things. He feels quite detached. The way that he talks about like struggling to meet women seems completely implausible, or maybe he's tried particular methods. I don't know. the whole thing has an unreality to it, and he feels very much like your archetypal horrible person who is just trying to do the bare minimum of pretending to be nice to get on the show, to have that initial wedding thing, and then will start to reveal themselves as like a monster who's just going to dominate the screen. And it doesn't work out like that.
You know, I think the thing is I didn't find him attractive at all to begin with. Like, I was like, they were going on about how he's the most attractive guy, and I was thought, oh, maybe in person, because I know a lot of times, you know, you see the people in person and it's like a whole different thing, and so maybe he's got this aura about him. And now I'm in love with him and think he's the hottest man that's ever walked this earth apart from Levi. Okay, so, you know, it definitely, I think wedding days also, they don't necessarily look like,
Totally,
you know,
totally.
like it's a whole, it's a whole different thing. But I think I've just jumped into the Mitch camp when he got down on one knee and proposed to her at the wedding and said, from the moment I met you, I knew I'd marry you. I mean,
That's hack.
But it's
Everyone
true.
does that.
But it's true. From the moment I met you, I knew I'd marry
I know,
you.
it's like a MAFS classic.
That's a
We've heard it a million times.
The thing
Jane.
is, if it were only that, sure, but it's joined up with all his goofball stuff.
It's the goofball and the nudity.
The nudity, yeah.
Nude, goofball, super hot.
And the fact he asked for someone short, which I love as a short person. Thank you very much. They did a lot of smelling of each other. There's definitely a pheromone situation going on.
True.
That's, I think, responsible for the intense chemistry. And there was the whole thing oozes sex. There was the sexy oyster edit of their dinner. Their first kiss was like a proper, like at the table. It was just the two of them.
When she moved across the table. Mm-hmm.
And she has a 3-date rule. I don't think she got to the 3 dates in the end, but
Didn't seem like it.
she really wants to jump his bones. They're both getting toey. I mean, they
Is that Australian?
Yeah,
totally.
it is. It's
Another great one.
real famous one.
runs her a beautiful romantic bath, puts on her bikini, and still.
Why is that? How was something which is objectively just super weird, just crazy hot when he does it?
Yes, this is the thing. It's madness. And then he gets in the bath and hands her the bikini.
But what's like puts it on her face or something? Like, it's just so odd. It's so
joking.
delightfully odd.
Like, so many people use humour in awkward situations to kind of diffuse it, and somehow it just makes it sexier with him. I just don't understand. And her, she's the same. Like, I just don't understand. Did he say your skin's hot, your wig's hot? When he was messaging her? He was messaging her. He was like, your skin's hot. I rewound it twice to try and hear it. I think I wasn't sure if she's got like extensions and she's having a lull, or if I just completely misheard it.
It's just so funny. When he said hi to the neighbour.
Oh, yeah.
Buttman.
So good.
The handstand push-ups
the
the
handstand push-ups. Like, I laughed out loud. Like, adorable. They had lovely sex. Obviously, it was very great. And it's just so comfortable being naked.
It's amazing.
Like,
it's
straight
so funny.
Slipped into it, like her doing her makeup, him like up to her naked hijinks
Like,
in the shower
really
behind
confident on a slippery surface doing all of that.
Extremely confident.
We've seen those ads.
Yeah.
You know where the guy slips out of the
Yeah.
shower?
Zach from Short Street.
Yeah,
Also
true.
does what does he do? Ribbon
Pink
dancing.
style ribbon dancing. Yeah. That's what you came to this podcast for.
Okay, anyway, that is week 1 of Married at First Sight Australia. It is out at midday. It's going to be Sunday to Wednesday from next week onwards. It's out on 3 now, midday, and then it goes on the terrestrial television at like 7:30 at night or something. Anyway, we're watching it. You should watch it. You're watching it. Otherwise, why are you be listening to this? Tell all your mates. Tell your friends. Thanks, T.I. here for recording and for actually watching the show so you could understand what we're talking about. Thanks, everyone listening. Thanks, Alice. Thanks, Duncan.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, the producer of Married at First Sight Australia, for making another masterpiece. I'm so excited.
Hey, while you're here, just rate and review us too. Thanks. On Spotify and Apple. Bye.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBet.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
The Spin-Off Podcast Network.